I want that. No, I have to read the public notice. Notice of public hearing, contract with the Sunshine Falls Free Library, Newland Fire Department, Highland Lake Fire Department, Highland Ambulance Service. Please take notice that the town of Highland will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the town of Highland Town Hall, 4 Proctor Road, Eldridge, New York, 12732, at which time all interested parties will be given an opportunity to be heard concerning proposed contract with the Sunshine Hall Free Library, Newland Fire Department, Highland Lake Fire Department, and the Highland Ambulance Service. The first hearing will start in six session with the Sunshine Hall Free Libraries, Newland Fire Department, Highland Lake Fire Department, and the Highland Ambulance Service until complete. The public is invited to attend, and all comments will be heard. By order of the town board, Susan Robinson, town clerk, Town of Highland, Sullivan County, New York, November 18th, 2024. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm the president of our board of trustees for Sunshine Hall. Thank you very much for your continued support of the library. This town has always been so supportive of our library, and it's greatly appreciated. We've been able to expand our programs. We have an internship program where we bring a high school student in, and it has been so successful, and we are so thrilled with the students who have participated in it. They've done great programs. We are facing 2 major costs this year. You know, the continued maintenance of a 100-year-old building is always a challenge, and our floors are at that point now where we need to do something that would become a hazard. So we will be taking off all of the rugs and refurbishing the original floors. So we'll have 9 wood floors in there. And we also need to do the paving out in the front of the building. That's also become critical to take care of. And then the big challenge and the big news is that Patty Kennedy, our director of all these many years, is retiring. So we will be looking for a replacement for her and really, I have all sorts of statistics and facts for you, but our programs have been very well attended. I know that they're greatly appreciated in the community, and I just want to thank everybody for their continued support.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. You guys are a huge asset to our community and we thank you. Right, does anybody have any questions? That is our, yeah, that's our.
That's-
Yeah.
It sounds like a question.
Mystery solved, yeah. Thank you very much. Next up is the Ullin Fire Department. Jeffrey?
I'm Tim Scott, the newly elected fire chief of Ullin. I think this is my fifth time to go around. Pleased to attend here. As fire chief, we've been working hard already. This year we've had quite a few calls already. We're looking to move the rest to the times, and we're going to work on that this year. So we're going to work hard at that. And I thank the town for their support. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, congrats.
Are there any questions? Ullin Fire Department? Okay. Next up, the Highland Lake Fire Department.
Good evening. I'm Joe Molan. I'm the Vice President of the Highland Lake Fire Department. I thought I got rid of this Jim. I was president of the fire department for 25 out of the last 29 years. With our president, our newly elected president's out of town. So here I am again. I have with me our chief, Warren Wagner. We'd like to tell the town board how much we appreciate their cooperation and their support of our organization. And we, once again, this year actively pursued grants and we received two grants. Over $200,000.
Great work.
And once again, thank you.
Thank you very much. And if you guys need Christmas trees, anybody out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
that's the place to go.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday coming up. Christmas trees, wreaths for sale, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Great. Thank you very much, Joe. Does anybody have any questions for the Highland Lake Fire Department? Okay, next up is the Highland Ambulance.
I'm gonna come up here.
Sure, perfect.
I've been asked by our president, Chris, to read this, so it's not very long, thank goodness. It says the Highland Ambulance Service would like to thank the town board for its continued support and offering us the opportunity to serve the town again in 2025. We are in excess of 381 calls to date, and we'll have a call volume over 400 calls in 2024. That includes providing mutual aid to the surrounding towns of Lumberland, Towson, and Bethel. Emergency medical service countywide is extremely busy and is evolving to meet the needs of the county. At Highland Ambulance Service, we are evolving to meet the needs of our community and will continue to expand service to do so. In 2024, with the help of the county and additional grants we received, we were able to upgrade our patient monitors to LifePak 15 units for both ambulances, and we're able to replace all automated external defibrillator units in the agency. LifePak 15 is a monitor and defibrillator for the treatment of patients in cardiac arrest. Hudson Valley Regional Emergency Medical Service Council has recently approved us for 12 lead monitoring, which is also a critical component of cardiac management, and we are in the process of being approved for iGel application, which is another critical component for airway management and cardiac events. Also in 2024, we have transitioned to a blended agency. This means we have some paid employees who work along with our volunteers to meet the needs of our community. By having paid employees, this has reduced response times. The Highland Ambulance Service currently has been able to answer 100% of our calls. In addition, we have the pleasure of having several of our members take the EMT course to become EMTs. The paid employees of our agency are solely funded by building money and not taxpayer dollars. In conclusion, the Highland Ambulance Service would like to again thank the town board for its continued support and the opportunity to serve community in 2025, and it's signed by Chris. I'll give this to the town.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I met with Chris earlier today and he also let me know that they've applied for a TC Energy grant for Starlink. So that would keep them in touch in a bigger way, in a more reliable way, through some challenging areas in our community. And that they have 10 paid employees and 99% of the calls are being answered by the paid staff. And they are sustainably able to fund this due to the efforts of the Pro EMS billing system that they use. I just wanted to add those things in too. So thank you very much. Is there any questions from the board or from the public for the Highland Ambulance Service? Okay. Well, I guess, do I have a motion to close the public hearing? I'll make that motion. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Okay.
All opposed? Any extensions? So moved. I think we can take a short recess to snack on Mary Ann's delicious brownies and to grab a cup of coffee. So we'll take a short break and then we'll start. Just a little bit. Oh, Ask for the pledge of allegiance. The pledge of allegiance is to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody could please review and standing. Call a moment of silence in honor of Arnold Gruel. Rest in peace. Thank you. So can you do roll call, please?
Keep calling me every day.
Councilperson Burrell,
Present.
Councilman Act,
There.
Councilwoman Haas.
Here.
Supervisor Pizzolatto,
Here.
Councilman Tom Migliorino,
Present.
and attorney for the town. Javed is via phone.
John, can you hear us okay?
I'm clear.
Okay, thank you very much. We can hear you as well. Okay, are there any public comments on the agenda? Okay, so we just had our public hearing for the library, the Newland Fire Department, the Highland Lake Fire Department, and the Highland Ambulance. Do I have a motion to sign and ratify those contracts?
Motion.
Can you just give me 1 second? I have all my resolutions here. I'm sorry. Sunshine Free Library, please.
Sure. Do I have a motion to approve the Sunshine Free Library contract?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstained for my service on the board.
Thank you for your service. So moved. And Sue, would you like to read the resolution?
Whereas the town of Highland and the Sunshine Fall Free Library Association are desirous of entering into an agreement concerning providing library services for the residents of the town of Highland, a copy of which agreement is attached here too. And whereas the town board has scheduled a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, to approve said agreement, and whereas the town of Highland Town Board has determined that entering into this agreement is in the best interests of the residents of the town. Now therefore, it is resolved as follows. Section 1, all whereas paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference as thou set forth in full herein. Section 2, the town board ratifies and adopts the attached agreement between Sunshine Hall Free Library Association and the town of Highland, and authorizes the town supervisor to execute same. This resolution shall be effective immediately. The resolution was thereupon duly adopted. I hereby certify the above resolution was adopted by the town board at a meeting held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Susan Hoffman, town clerk.
Thank you, Sue. Do I have a motion to approve the Newland Fire Department contract?
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
Thank you for your service.
But agree.
Thank you for your service. So moved. Sue, would you please read the resolution?
Whereas pursuant to the town law of the state of New York, the town board of the town of Highland has previously established a fire protection district known as the Newland Fire Protection District for the furnishing of the fire protection and other emergency services in connection with which the services of the firefighters would be required. And whereas, excuse me, the town of Highland and the Newland Fire Department are desirous of entering into an agreement concerning providing fire protection and other emergency services for the residents of the town of Highland, within the Ullin Fire Protection District, a copy of which agreement is attached here too. And whereas the town board has scheduled a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, to approve said agreement. And whereas the town of Highland Town Board has determined that entering into this agreement is in the best interest of the residents of the town. Now therefore, it is resolved as follows. Section 1, all whereas paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference as though set forth in full herein. Section 2, the town board ratifies and adopts the attached agreement between the Ullin Fire Department and the town of Highland and authorizes the town supervisor to execute same. This resolution shall be effective immediately. The resolution was thereupon duly adopted. I hereby certify the above resolution was adopted by the town board at a meeting held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Susan Hoffman, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Sue. Do I have a motion to execute the Highland Lake Fire Department contract?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Shane.
Oh, Highland?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Highland.
It's the Highland Fire. You're good, right?
I'm good.
Okay, so moved. Sue, can you please read the resolution?
Whereas pursuant to the town law of the state of New York, the town board of the town of Highland has previously established a fire protection district known as the Highland Lake Fire Protection District for the furnishing of the fire protection and other emergency services in connection with which the services of the firefighters would be required. And whereas the town of Highland and the Highland Lake Volunteer Fire Department are desirous of entering into an agreement concerning providing fire protection and other emergency services for the residents of the town of Highland within the Highland Lake Protection District, a copy of which agreement is attached here too. And whereas the town board has scheduled a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024, to approve said agreement. And whereas the town of Highland Town Board has determined that entering into this agreement is in the best interests of the residents of the town. Now therefore, it is resolved as follows. Section 1, all whereas paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference as though set forth in full herein. Section 2, the town board ratifies and adopts the attached agreement between the Highland Lake Volunteer Fire Department and the town of Highland and authorizes the town supervisor to execute same. This resolution shall be effective immediately. The resolution was thereupon duly adopted. I certify that the above resolution was adopted by the town board at a meeting held on Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Susan Hoffman, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Sue. Do I have a motion to approve the Highland ambulance contract?
Motion for discussion.
Okay, open the floor to discussion.
They indicated in their report that they have paid staff for the ambulance corps, so I'd like something, a confirmation from risk management that the workers' comp insurance that the town funds is adequate to cover paid employees. Because we've never had anything besides volunteers before.
Is there anybody from the Highland Lake ambulance still present?
Well, I wouldn't want it from the ambulance, I'd want it from risk management, there
So you-
who carries the insurance policy.
Um,
There was no difference in the amount in their budget for this year from last year for the policy, so I just wanted confirmation that it covers paid employees as opposed to just volunteers.
I believe that they included their workman's comp in the budget.
is included in the budget. Yeah, I know there was some talk
It
that there was a
wasn't- it wasn't-
50% increase, but they did pay for their own.
But that wasn't what was in their budget that they gave us, it was set aside, the total amount, because we talked about this when I asked about the 15% increase, that the accountant said was a 2% increase. That the workers' comp wasn't included in their payment, it was their total budget was the 15% increase in the budget, the $4,587 or whatever it was a separate amount underneath their total budget, so I would prefer that we just have an understanding that the town it has appropriate coverage for paid employees.
I'm happy to call risk management tomorrow, and then we can just, I guess we should potentially just like. Because of my, because I'll be gone on medical leave tomorrow. I'll check in with risk management at some point in the day, and then I will have our, deputy. Execute the contract, I guess, you should probably not sign for tonight because it's not official this evening.
Yeah, I would like to have something indicated in writing from them, so if we
From
can.
risk management, yeah, we
Yes.
can definitely contact them, no problem.
And it's gonna be for the workman's comp on the paid employees.
Right, because they said they have 10
They've
paid
indicated that they have
employees,
10 new paid employees.
which is not, none of the other volunteer services that are covered under that same, those similar policies have any paid employees, so. I don't want to take on additional risk for the town or for the employees if they don't have adequate coverage.
Okay,
And Glenn, that works for you, that you would come and execute the contract potentially tomorrow. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you for that.
so how, if we don't pass this resolution,
If we don't
how
have,
can we adequately have the contract?
You can't-
well, Glenn.
Yeah, we would have to wait until next.
Well, I mean, you could put it up for a vote and they could pass it and he could sign it tomorrow, but. Right, that would,
Yeah, I think we could, yeah.
you can't pass it,
I think I think that we should go ahead and wait for it and then just get the reassurance and then have the contract executed by Glenn tomorrow, just to make sure that everything's okay, so.
you can't
in-
execute the contract if we're waiting for information to approve the
You
resolution.
could potentially create a motion, Java, could we create a motion that, pending that there is coverage of the paid employees, that Glenn would be permitted to execute the contract?
Yeah, you would have the resolution tonight on the condition that
Got it, okay. So do I have a motion to conditionally approve the execution of the Highland Lake Ambulance Service pending confirmation of the workers' comp for the paid employees?
A motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed?
Thought you were abstaining because you're a member,
I'm not a member of the.
ambulance.
No.
Oh, okay. No,
All opposed?
I oppose.
Any abstentions? So moved. Thank you. This is a very exciting meeting tonight because it's the meeting of giving. I'm very excited to announce that we are the recipients of a third grant from Aileen Gunther's office as she's obviously retiring. We're very sad to lose her. We're very excited for the future with Assembly-elect Paula K. Drafton. But Aileen and Jean Gallagher have extended $75,000 additional to the town of Highland for tech upgrades and a cosmetic redux of the Stair Hall that we're sitting in, as well as the kitchen. So we're very excited to announce that we will be the recipients. It's a reimbursable grant in the amount of $75,000, and we're working with the same agency, the Ways and Means from New York State. We're already working with them on the $250,000 grant that we were given to restore the courthouse in Berryville. The other grant that Aileen, just for a refresher, extended to us was to upgrade the community center kitchen for commercial use. So we're very excited and very grateful to Aileen Gunther, and I'm excited for our community at large that she's been so dedicated for all these years to our town and bringing money back home. And so I think we can count on Paula K. Dropkin to do the same thing. I'm very excited to share that with all of you. So it's a coup for all of us. $75,000 later, very exciting. We also are the recipients of a gift. Some of you may remember that we chose a locally owned furniture company for a state bid for the replacement of our office furniture, which is what we were using for dedication of funds. Pam and Don Tiger are long residents of Eldred, New York. And Don presented this letter to me yesterday. Dear Mr. Pizzolatto, we would like to thank you all and the board members for your service to our community. My wife and I would like to donate a new 4x8x2 announcement board for the town hall. We hope that this can serve the community well and provide a new place for local community to make announcements or advertise. The announcement board will consist of a lockable side for the official town announcements and an operable side for the community to pin up announcements. It will also have an illuminated header panel for the town name and or new town seal. Please accept this gift on behalf of the Tiger family. With warm regards, the Tiger family, Don, Pam, Ben, Abby, and Cal. So if you see the tigers out in the wild, please thank them for their gifts. It was a bid that we were putting together for potential extended use of the ARPA funds or for use of our Silver Feather grant. I don't know if you guys have noticed all the wonderful signs to indicate river access right in front of town hall and then all along the river corridor. So we were sort of pending how we were going to be able to afford this board, and Don came forward and gifted it to the town. Pardon?
It's like a $4,000.
It's around 3,800 with installation and everything. So it's a very, very generous gift, and we're really excited to be working with them.
I have a question on it.
Yes.
Are you gonna mount it on the outside of the building here?
Yeah, this-
Replace the existing?
It'll go right where the existing is. The only thing I believe we'll have to do is work with an electrician to run the power out to the board. And then some of you may remember Doreen Warner and Kelly Lee and Nicole Camacho are also working with Councilperson Morel to create a new town seal that we're going to be presenting to everybody. So the new bulletin board will affect our new town seal. So it's very exciting that it's all kind of coming together synergistically to get our announcements out there. And soon we'll have our own dedicated panel, because I know sometimes she said just take things to the doors and things get used up and removed. So you'll have your own lockbox. So that's very, very generous gift from them. Sure. Yes, I was gonna motion the acceptance of the $75,000 grant from the lien as well as the gift, correct? Okay, so do I have a motion to accept the $75,000 in grant from Eileen Gunther's office?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to accept the gift of the bulletin board from Pam and Don Tiger?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Thank you, Javed. And thank you again to the Tiger family and to Assemblywoman in Gunther's office as well. Definitely going to miss her. I just wanted to announce that we have our real estate public hearing, which will be taking place the same day as our reorganization meeting on January 7th at 7 p.m. We've completed our comprehensive plan committee's survey, so that's very exciting. We completed that yesterday. We basically broke up into groups and came up with about 5 to 10 questions each, then brought based on the various swatting sessions that we've had all throughout the year. And then we've assembled a group of 5 to 10 questions per topic with partners. And then the full committee went through and reviewed the survey yesterday. So now we're going to assemble the survey, look for a really easy platform for Melissa, who's going to be our comprehensive clerk on this project. It will go out at the beginning of the new year. We had to move into the new budget year in order to extend funds, which we will approve in the new year, most likely at the reorg meeting. But we will be offering this out to every resident in town via the mail. And then there'll also be an electronic QR code campaign as well for social media. Basically, we want to get as many responses as possible based on dedicated IP addresses. And then we're looking for something that will make it easy for Melissa to make sure that we're not getting multiple results per scanner, per survey. But I really do urge all of you to take it. The comprehensive plan survey basically will inform all of our code rewrites. And earlier in the year, we elected to move with MRB Group, who's worked on our CFA grant. So they've been hired or commissioned to fill out our CFA grant in hopes that we can get a full code rewrite funded from the state. It's a $75,000 grant. So we can't really start the code rewrite, but what we've been doing all year is gathering all the results, all of your opinions, thoughts, feelings, and emotions about our town and what makes it great and where we can improve. Also included in the comprehensive plan survey. And I don't know if you guys have been watching this with the sessions or at some of the meetings. Chris came to the October meeting to present, but we have a resident health commissioner from NYU that's been working on a project all year to sort of form a catch-all clinic, interfacing with various medical groups from Bon Secours to Garnet Health. We just had a really wonderful and productive conversation with Sullivan 180. So some of those health questions are also going to make their way to our comprehensive plan survey too, so we can take that data and shape hopefully this catch-all clinic around the needs of the community. I know like we're trying to incorporate things like a pharmacy where it would be like the catch, to try to catch like the top 30 SKUs of medication that folks in town are in, as well as do diagnostics to prevent, extended travel for things like x-rays, EKGs, blood work, things like that. So it's going very, very well. A lot of groups have committed to it, but it is not part of our town. We're just collecting data and giving Chris the runway. He's developed medical groups in a similar vein all throughout India and Africa. So I feel very excited that we're being categorized as a health desert. It comes with its challenges, obviously, but we are by definition based on proximity a health desert. So all these medical groups are stepping in, and it's a very exciting prospect. So you'll see that on the survey as well. So again, you'll all be receiving a copy of it in the mail. We're going to do direct door mailing, and then you'll see the electronic campaign appear as well. So it's very exciting. And also in there, we're going to include contact information for dog registration, rabies clinics, and just a town update on all of our progress this year. I also wanted to let the public know that the FinFo public hearing on the environmental review is set for December 18th at 6 p.m. at the Eldred Central School Gymnasium. Jeff, did you want to include anything about the public hearing?
No, you covered it.
Okay.
December 18th, 6 p.m.
Okay, great, thank you. Joe, can you give a highway report?
Yes. All right, since our November 12th meeting, we've removed all the banners and flags in the Eldred area. We've spent most of the early part of November doing truck repairs, mounting the plows and wings for snow removal. Since the snow, we've been out cleaning up brush and trees after the storm damage. And there has been quite a few deer this past month along the road. So we've been picking them up. That's what I have.
I want to thank you for all your hard work during the storm. You guys had the roads cleared and had all of the
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. You guys did a fantastic job. And you guys made Nice's job a lot easier. It did take an extra day or so to get some of the lines repaired, but they created a wonderful blank safe slate for the linemen to do their work, and hopefully they got ahead of a lot of that line work. So we won't hopefully be experiencing the extended outages should we have any more winter storms. So Joe, thank you to everybody who's involved for that cleanup. It was great. I also wanted to thank our new deputy clerk and councilperson Migliorino, the town clerk Sue Hoffman, and Laura Burrell for coming and helping during the storm. During our storm aid, we were able to serve meals to people and provide shelter and charging stations and warming stations for the town. So it really was a great effort. We are still working on our MOU with the St. Anthony's Parish Center. We haven't got that contract back yet. And then also we will be working on the community and senior center to make that another storm shelter as well and charging station. Our wonderful friends at Koinonia have also extended the potential to one day maybe go over there once they get their generator in place. So that would be really wonderful. So we would have a touch point in each one of the hamlets or something within close proximity. And then we can truly utilize town hall as like the command center, because it does get a little hectic in here. You guys may remember those 2017 and 2018 storms when, you know, there was a long extension and there was a lot of like tough calls to make with different agencies throughout the state and federal government that had to intervene. So this is best kept as a command center, but for the time being, it worked well for our recent storm. And with that, I just have one more quick thing before the Koinonia presentation. I just want to keep you guys here so you shall stay. But we do have some correspondence.
I have some correspondence in my reports. For the Hewlett Fire Department. In November, they had 18 emergency calls, 2 drills, 3 meetings / trainings, and 3 miscellaneous with a total of 26 hours. As of now, for 2024, they have 4,068.23 personal hours in, and that is just until the end of November. Highland Lake Fire Department. 152.5 man hours on calls, drills 28, work nights 58, training classes 0, total of 238.5. For the total for them for the year so far, ending in November, is 2,110.75. Highland Ambulance. 34 calls, 1 meeting, 3 training sessions, 12 standbys, 300 man hours total.
Do you have any further correspondence?
I do not believe so.
Okay, thank you, Sue. All right, you're up, Team Koinonia.
From here is good?
Sure, or you can take the podium, whatever you prefer. You might actually want to take the podium because it's mic'd over there, and we'd like the folks at home to be able to hear you.
Okay, so, oh yeah, it's great.
You sound hot.
Much easier to talk. Hello, good evening. My name is Kathleen Bruin. I'm the executive director of Koinonia Lutheran Camp close to Highland Lake, New York. I just want to give you a little history about the camp. It was established in 1963 and has served Lutheran congregations for 60 years and the local community for nearly 40 years. The camp is a 20-room hotel-like conference center, which we would love to be able to provide as a we'd love to be able to help provide as a warming, cooling station for the community. We get a generator. It also has 3 retreat cabins. It has over 1,001 acres of wilderness and trails, including about 3-mile-long lake, which is fully enclosed and private. And in the past 4 years, the camp has invested in its infrastructure and people. So far, we've raised over $1.5 million in the capital campaign. And if you want to look at some of our improvements, we have a flyer just by the door, which can say what we've done and what we're still looking to do. So in 2022, Koinonia brought back the day camp because we were closed and then reopened. And now it's one of the few childcare options in this area for the summer. We renamed it Nature Camp, and it was run and staffed with local teachers and high school students. And it was so popular the first summer that in 2023, we extended it from 6 weeks to the entire summer and registered 107 children. And for the past 3 years, Koinonia has been in partnership with the town of Highland, and town of Highland through grants and their own funding have been able to pay $85 for every child from residents in order to lower the cost of a week of camp. And so the total funding from the town in 2024 was $30,000. Thank you so much. 7,000 of that was to pay for arrears in 2023, and 23,000 was for 274 camper weeks in 2024. So there were 42 families from the town of Highland who have benefited from the subsidy, and 6 of those families were also given additional support from Koinonia from our scholarships fund so they could attend. So just knowing that this is such, real partnership. We want to make sure that every child in the town of Highland can come to camp. So just a couple data points as a whole from last summer. 138 children in total attended nature camp last summer. 110 kids attended 2 or more weeks of camp, which makes you think this is definitely a childcare option for families. We had 86 meals served through the summer, and we added a hot breakfast to our lunch to identify and meet families who have food insecurity. Our average attendance per week was 61. And we had 13 young leaders who attended the camp. Those are children from 13 to 15-year-old who often are ignored in summer and can have an opportunity to grow with leadership. So for this summer, we're again running the camp for 9 weeks, and that's from June 30th to August 29th. The tuition is going to increase a little bit from last summer, so from $200 to $220. Our online registration will go live on March 1st. And we are also accepting childcare vouchers from the county, and assisting those who need additional funding from our scholarship funds. And at this point, as we're now looking toward the future, that was a past report. Now we're kind of looking to the future this summer. I'd like to introduce you to our associate director, Mike O'Brien, who will be heading up Nature Camp this summer. And just going to say a few words about programming, and then if you wish, we're happy to answer any questions you might have. So please.
Thank you. As Kathleen said, my name is Mike O'Brien. I am originally from Cincinnati, and the past 15 years worked as an overnight camp director in Kentucky. But I've made my way up here with my family. The last 2 summers, I worked at Camp Reimagine, which is in Huguenot. It's in the old New York YMCA overnight camps. And I was a day camp option there. Unfortunately, that camp is closing its doors at the end of this calendar year, actually at the end of this week. And so I am really excited to be able to bring my family and also the opportunity to get to know the kids of this town at Koinonia. A couple of things that I'm really excited about this summer is many families who are from the Berryville Eldred area sent their kids to Camp Reimagine for a few weeks last summer, and they're very excited that I am now here at Koinonia to keep their kids in the town and to be able to spend more of their summer here locally with their kids. And so for myself, I really am focused on giving kids a more individualized experience. And so some of the things that I'm really working on for this coming summer is leveraging partnerships that I have with colleges to get additional staff at no cost to us or the town, so that we can lower the number of staff to camper ratios, hopefully down to like 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, which will be able to give our kids more opportunity to engage with adults that care about them. We're also looking to expand our programming at camp by giving our staff and kids the opportunity to work together to create activities that they're all interested in doing together, rather than just the kind of prepackaged activities that have been offered in the past. And then also we are working hopefully this year to raise funds to install a new toilet and shower house with flushable toilets at the day camp instead of our pit toilets, which will be really, hopefully will be installed before this summer. Yeah, so just a little bit about me. I have a wife and 2 kids. My kids go to the Homestead School already, so moving from Port Jervis to here is really going to cut down on trouble. And I've just been really excited to meet folks here in this community. And me and my family felt very welcomed by everyone, so I'd love to get to know you a little bit better in the future.
So thank you very much.
That was great. And I wanted to let the community know as well that I took a wonderful tour on election day with these 2. So it relieved some stress, which was nice. But we took a pretty thorough hike around the camp, and it was very inspiring. And for those of you who want to take a look at where we're sending our children, which I think is very, very important, they're definitely in good hands with these guys. But we're hosting the Greater Berryville Chamber of Commerce winter warm-up with them in March. So obviously the entire community is invited to that. And I think it'll be a really wonderful opportunity to kind of get the public in. And so we're really looking for future opportunities to partner with you guys. It's such a beautiful facility if you've never been. So thank you very much for everything that you're doing for child care and child education and outdoor experiences for our youth. Thank you very much. Did anybody have any questions? Thank you very much. we've got our grants update, so we have our bids, so based on the RFP that we issued in November. In October, we are opening up 2 sealed bids that we received for architects, for the courthouse project, so Tom, you want to go first?
No,
I can go.
we will go up there, absolutely.
Okay, so this is from Preston Drafting Service. To the town board, pursuant to your request, I would like to submit a proposal for design work for the proposed improvements to the historic courthouse building in Berryville. Proposed services to work with the board to develop a scope of work to be performed at the courthouse to achieve the goals of the town to remain within the budget restraints. Provide accurate set of plans with details and specifications to provide basis for obtaining bids to complete the proposed improvements. Fees and payments. I propose to carry the proposed service above for a lump sum fee of $3,000. Work with commence within 10 days upon receipt of the $1,500 retainer. Final payment will be due when the town board agrees that the work is completed. Please sign below indicating your authorization to proceed. And that was again from Preston Drafting Services. This is from Shadow Architects. A former resident of the town of Highland and a current member of the Chamber of Commerce.
Copy of the bid stuff,
Pardon?
the bid request, we have a copy of the bid request.
It was published in the paper.
No, but we.
I believe we all received it in the one at the meeting. I don't know.
Copy that I can
Do
see.
you have a
like-
copy on it? Pardon?
I don't know if Sue has one.
Got it. Please feel free to grab a second round of brownies during our break. Yes.
While you guys are meeting, friendly reminder that the time before closes the next meeting. Motion to schedule a public hearing for the land acquisition and authorizing the town clerk to publish.
Thank you. Okay, so Town of Highland, dear Mr. Pizzolatto and all, thank you for the opportunity to present the enclosed proposal. As an architectural design practice, our firm creates varied environments for living, working, and entertainment. And we will bring our knowledge and experience to Berryville for the courthouse project. Under my lead, we will work closely with our clients to address their particular needs, to create unique design solutions to bring each project into fruition. You can see many examples of our past projects on our website. Please feel free to reach out with the scope of work and goals, fee structure, or any other questions you may have. We very much look forward to the opportunity of working with you. There's a very extensive interior building envelope engineering services, architects and scope of services. So I'll just go straight to the architectural fees. For the architect's scope of services above, the owner shall compensate the architect a fixed fee of $14,000. The scope of services, phases and portion of the fixed fee they represent are as follows: initial payment $2,000, site survey $1,500, schematic design $3,500, design development $3,000, construction documents and governing authority review $2,000, bidding and construction negotiations excluded, construction administration $2,000 for a total fixed fee of $14,000. Additional services. Should any additional services be required beyond the scope of this agreement or the service of special consultants are required, these services would be billed directly to the owner by the consultant or provided at standard hourly rates based on the authorization of the owner. Following are some examples of additional services or special consultants. And their hourly rates there are principal architect $300 an hour, project manager $175 an hour, draft person and assistant $120 an hour, and intern at $80 an hour. So, does the board feel like we have enough adequate information to make a vote on these, or do we want to take time?
I have a question,
Sure.
because the proposal is for an architect. Dave Preston's not an architect. So what?
He's not.
And he's not an architect. He does drawings, but he's not like a licensed or certified architect. So then it wouldn't, I mean, that would be the question.
I'm not sure we need one, that we just need someone to compile the plans.
Well, we put out a proposal for an architect though, so that's my question to
Yeah,
Javed. If we put out,
I think what we would need to do is to talk to, I was waiting to turn in the final sketch of our budget to the Ways and Means to Brad Fossil at New York State. I think that we have to be very clear because it is a historic building. We need a certified architect to do the work, and or if a drafts person would be adequate.
This architect has a stamp, everything. The
Yeah,
one that you're talking about.
Shadow Architects does, yes. He's done other work in town, he's built houses.
It doesn't matter, you have that stamp if you're gonna go through the state and everything else, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah, so, so I'll check in with Brad based on that conversation. I feel like maybe we should table this conversation so that we can review the work of this architectural firm, because it seems like people are a little less familiar with this one. And then we can find out if we can hire a draftsman versus an architect, if that's.
I don't think we can. Because we're then gonna have to hire an architect to stamp the plans for whatever work's gonna be done, so. I think there's no way, and especially if the proposal is for an architect, I don't think you can. His bid wouldn't be acceptable, we only have one bid to review.
John, do you have can you give us any insight here as well?
Dave works for Fuller.
We do know, I mean, we are acquainted with Preston Drafting Services that, he's pretty much a one-man show. He's a local draftsman that works on a lot of different projects, but I guess we just didn't know about his individual certification, so.
He works for an architect.
He works for John Fuller in Port Jervis. He does the drafting for Fuller and he's the engineer, he stamps it. So if you want him to do something, then Fuller has, if the price is too high, Fuller has to be involved or he has to send a bid in himself.
Got it. And so we'll also inquire further, I think because of the historic nature of it, we just need to really vet that with the state in a bigger and more meaningful way. And I don't know if Dave's proposal is meant to be in tandem with John Fuller. It sounds like that's typically how they work.
That's how they
He
work.
didn't submit a bid though, like
we would have to go back.
We have to
and
revisit it.
Yep. Got it. Okay, well, let's take time. We should table this until the January meeting then, and we'll.
I'm not saying he ain't got
research.
a good reputation, it's just, you don't have the stamp.
Right. He provided plans for us in the past with a stamp on.
They gotta be some kind of fault. Somebody's gotta stamp it. Did the stamp have Fuller's name on it or did it have his name on it?
Not, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
recall,
That's it.
for a project done in the past.
Okay, so we'll table this into the January meeting. This evening also, we are working through the reimbursements for the Sullivan County Youth Bureau grant. So we've extended an additional $6,500 payment to Camp Koinonia for their services. And then we've also extended to 2 food providers we filled out an application based on the commercial reconstruction of of our community and senior center. We are working with a group called Growing Souls to provide meal programs to seniors, veterans, and working families with food insecurities. And so the Sullivan County Youth Bureau grant allows us to purchase things within the 2024 calendar year. So we've chosen two food sources, Monteleone Gardens and PEX are going to be in receipt of $1,500 worth of food products and crops from Monteleone Hydroponic Gardens, and then staples for cooking like olive oil, salt, pepper, seasonings that are shelf stable. So we purchased those out from PEX as well. With Monteleone Gardens, we'll have growing opportunities. They're planting crops now. This is basically a reimbursable grant. So we had to go ahead and extend those payments out to the vendors, and then we will be reimbursed by the Sullivan County Youth Bureau in the amount of $9,500.
So we're prepaying the food stuff because the program's not operational yet, right?
So they needed the money extended. So Growing Souls is a nonprofit, so they were able to like make selections from PEC. So they're going to be in receipt of those, and they'll store them at the Liberty Food Co-op where they have at the Ferndale. They just moved to the Cornell Cooperative Extension. That's where she stores her supplies right now. So all those supplies will be locked up and utilized like with their pod. With Monteleone Gardens, they are planting the crops now. So we were able to initiate that program with them. So we were able to pick out $1,500 worth of crops, and they're guaranteed food sources. So we're not going to be paying for something if it doesn't turn out or something like that.
So yes, we're prepaying. We don't have the Growing Souls program is not operational yet in the town. That was my question. We're in the middle of our construction bids for the senior center commercial kitchen upgrades. So once those are complete, we'll start to serve meals, but we were able to get in contract. That was the requirement of the grant, to get in contract and have that money dedicated for 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to give an update there. We also, we have to take another look at one of our residents, Frank Monteleone, also did a energy output and kind of comp plan for the infrastructure of our AC pumps. Tom, can you give us an update there?
Yes, right now Frank put a design together for the heat and air conditioning for our town hall. And at this point, we have 4 contractors who are bidding on the project, and their bids are due back on the 23rd of December. And at the January 7th meeting, we will open those bids. And at that point, after we review the bids, we will level them. In other words, we'll go through the bids and see what each contractor has included in their bid and try to pick the best one to perform. But after speaking to Frank today, we might have to rebid it once again because there's been a little bit of a design change with these heat pumps. Where New York State is going with this green energy plan, and that's what the grant was for. So the way they work is some of the pumps only work to like 5 degrees or 5 below zero. And another one, hyper pump, heat pump, works a little harder in the cold weather. So the goal is to get rid of our electric heat. We have 3 sources of heat in this building. There's electric baseboard heat, there's oil heat, and there's
Propane.
Propane's inside. There's 2 sources.
Oh,
We're trying to get down to one that's most economical. That's our goal. So we'll keep you posted as time goes on. Once the bids come back, we'll see where we're at.
We're going to look into also potentially supplementing some of the $75,000 new allotment from Aileen Gunther to go to supplement some of the heating costs, because the energy grant is the NYSERDA grant, which is afforded us $10,000 for the heat pumps. That may be under what it's actually required to sort of heat and cool the space.
There's a shortage of the heat pumps. Because there's a shortage of the heat pumps because they just changed out all of the component requirements. Because we just did out the HVAC system rebuilds. So we had to change the specs. It's a chemical component. But the other thing we should look into is if there's adequate electrical service to support the system, because if it, depending on what amperage it's built to, you might have to extend the panel, which shouldn't be too much of an issue if we have adequate transmission from the mains, but we won't know that until we look at it.
And part of the, we also, I spoke to Gene Gallagher today. We may have to do some upgrades, electric upgrades in general, to accommodate whatever Laura's tech plan is going to be for the building and what space is here. So I think that could be like a really great 360, and I'm glad it's happening at the same time.
But you're absolutely right, because we were going through the panels to see how much amperage we have.
Yeah.
But by eliminating a lot of the visible heat that's throughout the building, we would gain the amperage. So the system that he has designed now, we do have enough amperage, but if we go to those hyper.
It's Mitsubishi, like
Cold weather Mitsubishi.
Well, yeah,
Is that the ones you used to Mitsubishi?
No, well, that's what when we did the original spec we did 3 proposals, and it's a supplier issue, so the suppliers had to change all the components to the pumps. Like, we're delayed in probably an additional year to 6 months to a year on the project because of that change. And then it significantly changed the electrical requirements per structure.
Once we get a little more information back, then we'll be able to speak more clearly about the project.
Just another update to their community center. So we have, the community center is more of a purchasing, we do have a new custodial staff, Iantha Hernandez, that's working with us now, who's very talented at drywalling, spackling, framing, all those sort of things. And also a really wonderful and talented painter. So she's going to be keying a lot of like the actual cosmetic work that goes on in the commercial kitchen, the installation of fireproof paneling, things like that. But the rest is basically just purchasing commercial equipment. So we have a very trusted restaurant supply store, Bari, who works on state bids, that's putting something together for us now. We asked for an extension on those plans. So I'm going to try to meet with them at the end of next week. Try to get everything. Tom and I have been working on the specs for the space. The goal is to make the community center kitchen function for the Growing Souls food program, but also to make it more desirable to rent right now. We haven't had adequate inspections and water in there for quite some time, so we're excited to get all that compliant as well and potentially increase the rental fees and usage for that building in general. Tom, do you have any more buildings or maintenance updates?
Sure. I'll go through each building. These maintenance was completed through November and the beginning of December here. Our courthouse, we had a problem with the well pump. Just one day there was no water in the courthouse. So I was in touch with Tommy Traver. He was familiar with the system, and he finally repaired it, and we have water back into the courthouse. So that's all good to go. We also had another issue with the thermostat for the oil burner or steam boiler. That's been repaired. Community center, kitchen renovation.
And something to the courthouse as well. Again, thanks to the highway department, Jim Morbido came around and he was able to clean out the filter on the hot water heater because it was like so run amok with like sediment. And so he cleaned it out and got the hot water heater working yesterday for us too, which was great. When we were in the middle of our review. So real Johnny on the spot. Thanks.
As far as the community center goes, the kitchen renovation, like we had discussed, and the appliances, we're working on the pricing now for that as well. The bathrooms are being painted. We're doing some repair with our maintenance person here, Iantha, and she started in the men's room, and she's going to work her way into the ladies' room, and we'll get into the hallway and then basically into the main meeting area as we go on. But there's going to be some work and improvements, mostly cleaning up The town hall garage, the town highway garage, we had the wastewater tank and septic tank pumped. That was probably the first time since the building was built, so they're taken care of. And as far as our town hall, we have the estimate and walkthrough for the mini split system, so we'll be waiting for the pricing on that as well. Our exterminator, what he reports every month, I should say, basically mice issues. That's all I really have to report on this month. You have anything to add to about the mice?
We've been
Pretty good.
really pretty good.
Oh, good.
We haven't seen or everything is staying really nice and clean and they're not coming in, not chicks or anything.
Okay, good news. Good news.
Laura, did you have anything to add for buildings?
Oh, no, he was very thorough.
Okay, anything for code?
Yep, so the reports that are our monthly reporting are handed out to all the board members. The code office is in full swing now that we have an extra person to help. We've expanded hours in the office to cover Thursdays and Fridays. So thank you, Melissa. She's in the middle of getting trained. We've been focusing on the fire and safety inspections for commercial entities within the town, as well as permit renewals for short-term rentals that are in their first year and a half through the town. We've made some inroads with some of our outstanding violations, which is really great. And looking to the future, we have a little bit more refinement to do with our fee structure, some things that we missed. So that'll be upcoming in the next meeting. We'll send them around for information, questions. And we're working on some big applications that are coming through the office. Still busy, still busy.
Do you know how many short-term rentals have been renewed in the new year?
I didn't collect those numbers for tonight's meeting, but I can send them around.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge concern for us because we just now in this year been finally trained up how to use the IKEA system so that it'll auto update. So as they're putting in these new applications and renewing the permitting, the new clerks are able to utilize the system, so it won't be such labor or laborious like moving forward that we're gonna have to, physically go one by one and look at, we're able to set like an alarm, right?
Yeah.
Payments are expired.
For their annual
And so
renewal.
those like letters will auto generate, which will be a big help because it's a big source of revenue. And there is a bill on Governor Hochul's desk that she may sign, hopefully, for New York towns to treat Airbnbs more like a business, so that they'll be subject to more taxes and the amount that we can actually charge as a community will be deregulated. They've had a lot of lobbyists working on Airbnbs. And as you guys all know, they definitely weigh in on our emergency services. And so time will tell what'll happen in the new year with that. Thank you, Laura.
I just want to tell Laura that Charles, the code over in Lumberland's brother, finished up his schooling and everything else.
Oh, that's
So
great
he's
to
gonna be
know.
on that list.
Okay,
Get rid of that Fusco
thank you. Good lead.
for a lot less money than what we're paying.
Laura, did you want to report on our court audit yesterday?
Yeah, we conducted the annual audit with the courthouse records and books. It was really nice. Both town justices and the town justice clerk were present and walked us through how they track their ledgers, print their reporting, how accounts are maintained separately by each judge. We walked through the dating and the numbering process. We took random samplings of their reporting and made sure that everything lined up in terms of the deposits. Their checkbook register was reconciled with their monthly reports. And we also had, a little discussion on how the comptroller has been more involved and how the state has been more involved in overseeing records keeping with the courts. We understand they're all drawn down to $10, and we were confident to sign that it was a very orderly and well-maintained audit. I'm sorry, books. The audit was finished yesterday around 3:00 p.m.
Everything's. Oh, it's, well, you did. Actually, do I have a motion to approve the public hearing, for the purchase of real estate set for January 7th at 7 PM before our reorganizational meeting?
We did that in the workshop.
Java asked us to.
He did,
I don't think he realized we did it afterwards.
well, he was supposed to prepare a resolution, wasn't that the discussion at the?
Yes.
workshop?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Java, did you prepare a resolution or you just think we should pass it by motion?
well, we passed it by motion.
Actual, approval will be there for.
Got it. So you want us to pass the second motion because we did do it at the workshop. I
We
didn't,
did it at the workshop, so I just need to publicize.
okay, got it. Thank you. And so, can I see your resolution? Okay. The town of Highland Town Board on December 10th, 2024, at the Town of Highland regular town board meeting, the town board authorized the following. The town board has read the Justice Audit Report and authorizes the supervisor to submit it to the Internal Audit Services Unit. Now, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
No, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Okay, thank you. The Town of Highland at the town board meeting on December 10th, 2024, did introduce and pass the following resolution. Whereas modifications are required to the 2024 general budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the following budgetary transfers be made from A 960 appropriations. Town clerk in the amount of $1,086.88. Attorney litigation in the amount of $1,005.50. Social Security in the amount of $4,509.50. Health insurance at the amount of $6,849. Bond interest at $1,095. And from two appropriations, 1410.1 town clerk in the amount of 8688. 1014.4 attorney in the amount of $1,050. Central mailing and printing in the amount of $1,987.85. Data processing in the amount of $438.69. Unallocated insurance in the amount of $5,769.51. Traffic control in the amount of $796.60. Refuse and garbage in the amount of $720. And community beautification in the amount of $2,740.85. For a grand total of $14,545.88. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Sue, could you do roll call, please?
Councilperson Burrell,
Aye.
Councilman Act.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Haas,
No,
Supervisor Pizzolatto,
Aye.
Councilman Nicolino.
Aye.
So moved. Okay.
Did you get it?
I guess it, so I have a motion to pay highway abstract number 11-2024 claims 130 to 143 in the amount of $45,539.41. Their motion,
I'll make that motion.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
On
opposed?
this, yeah, on,
No.
Joe, on the abstracts there, you got 40,000 for HO Pen, what's that for?
Generator?
All right,
All in favor?
all right,
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to pay general abstract number 11-2024 claims 214 to 237 in the amount of $30,509.11?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
no,
No.
Any abstentions? So moved. Do I have a motion to pay Eldred Streetlights number 11-2024 in the amount of $131.51?
motion,
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? So moved, and I just wanted to let everybody know, on the budgetary transfers, the portion that we've transferred over, for the beautification is for the activity path that everybody, I don't know if you've witnessed it or walked it yet, but basically from the Eagle Observation 2 area where we removed the booth, we've paved all the way to the connector to the towpath. It was part of the Silver Feather project that we were awarded in 2021. So we've been able to see all the projects be fully executed and brought into position. So again, the path starts there. It's about a mile and it's next to the historic towpath under the railway bridge. So if you haven't yet, please walk it. It's beautiful. We will be having like a ribbon cutting ceremony in celebration of the D&H Canal 250th anniversary this June. And we'll celebrate the rest of the project at that time. So that is a reimbursable part. So we paid for it out of general. And it will be in our final installment from Sullivan 180. So we're really excited to close out that grant and see it come into fruition. Sure. Oh, yeah, yes. Sue has an announcement about
I should have read it with
advances with the DMV coming to town.
Deputy Town Clerk, Melissa Denlinger spoke with, DMV regarding DMV coming back to the Highland Town Hall, so that you can come here to do your motor vehicle tests. DMV mobile unit will come on Mondays. We don't know which Mondays yet. This will happen in the late spring. Once a month from 10 to 3, starting in the spring. Beforehand, they will be doing the advertising on their billboard, in the newspaper, and on the radio. They would also like us to advertise on our website and our social media. And it will be for a 6-month trial period because people need to come and use their services. So that will start later in the spring and we will keep you updated on that.
Please come and bring them candy and gifts so that they continue to come here. It's a lot more
did
pleasant
come
experience.
pre-COVID, and once COVID hit, that stopped, so, Melissa wanted to see about getting that going again.
Thank you, Melissa.
Is it the same if they process it here, that the money stays in the county, as opposed to if you do it online, it goes to
Yes,
state budget?
it should stay in the county.
Is there any public comment? Yes.
I heard you refer to the courthouse as a historic building. For your information, when I was on the town board in charge of buildings, we were replacing windows and doing interior work. And I contacted the state to be sure that we didn't violate any of the stipulations as it as a historic building. I was rather surprised to find out it is not at that time a registered historic building. I don't know if anything has changed in the interim, but if it has not changed, we may refer to it as a historic building in general speak, but it is, unless someone applied and registered it, currently it is not a registered historic building. And the reason I say this, if you're going to do work to the building, you would not be restricted by state regulations, as it's not a registered historic building. But you may want to try to keep it as much as you can with the same look, but that would be voluntary.
Thank you for that. At the onset of the project, we consulted with the town historian who we, obviously want to tether together with the said architect. So as soon as we are able to decipher an architect, we'll put the town and county historians in touch with said person so that we can do historically referenced renovations on the building. And for her mind, her first order of business was to get it registered. So we'll sort of see. I appreciate that input because we do have to decipher what's going to be the most cost effective and what's going to have the greatest longstanding benefit for the community with that building. I mean, we are investing a lot, and we'll go on I would like to see it go on the historic register if we can, because it is a very special building. There's so many wonderful things there. We have historic maps that are dated, I think, from 1938 and intact in the courthouse. And some of the work you probably completed, Mark Bertram did a wonderful job with the floors and brought them back to their original.
We restored the tin ceiling.
Yes, the tin ceilings were restored.
So the plaque that's in the foyer entering there, claiming that it's a historic building, should be taken on with a grain of salt.
Well, it was, thank you. I've come across these plaques. There was actually one at my own house. I think in the 70s and 80s. There was a historic society in town and they anointed several buildings of historic reference, but without any real authority. So it's our own little historic recognition, I guess you'd say, more than a registered entity. But thank you for that. And thank you for your work on it. The first go around, now we have to work on a lot of infrastructure things like French drains, keeping the snakes out of there, and other wonderful surprises that lie ahead in that building once we start peeling up. Mel, did you have your hand up?
Yes. Mel Barney, Hudson Lake. I'd like to acknowledge Jimmy Act as he takes his leave of this board. You are abrupt, knowledgeable, direct, honest, and refreshingly politically incorrect. You withstood more disrespect during your tenure than any public servant should expect to. Every fight you picked or were invited to was to protect the people of this town. Thank you for your contribution. The proposed real estate purchase of $78,000 raises multiple concerns. This purchase bears no resemblance to an arm's length transaction. The realtor for the purchase is the supervisor's friend and the most recent hire for the code enforcement clerk position. Bowler Holdings purchased the property in July for $27,500. They are a boutique firm providing a high level of service to select clients, according to their website. Why would they be interested in a derelict property located next to a condemned high-rise building? They currently list 564 Route 55 as their second office location. The first is 45 Rockefeller Plaza in New York City. 564 State Route 55 hasn't had an inhabitant in years. Could this property value have increased almost 200% since July without the interest of this board? What other offers were made before the agreed upon amount, which just so happens to be our remaining ARPA fund balance? If there were a member of the Haas clan, and that's spelled clan with a C, or any member of the Hanson family involved in this transaction, the internet would be screaming about corruption and collusion. This is not a purchase that is in the best interest of this community. Supervisor Pizzolatto, Councilperson Burrell, and Councilman Migliorino have committed the town to a $375,000 bond for highway equipment. They then approved the 2025 budget that does not include the $85,000 payment due on the bond. The supervisor has secured grant funding for a courthouse renovation, a senior center kitchen upgrade that no one voted for. There are additional projects currently underway that taxpayers will be financially responsible for once they exceed the grant funding amount, and they will. There has been no information given about the costs involved to demo and upgrade this property. We are concerned. Thank you.
Your continued like social media posts and public
I have no social
displays
media
This
presence.
is,
in general.
this is not productive. This is not productive. It's not productive.
And you need to know that, and the public needs to know that there are so many inaccuracies here, and I do hold office hours. And so if anybody would like to unpack any of the allegations that are made during these public comments or posted online, I'd be more than happy to talk all of this out. I do not know, just for the public's knowledge, I know nothing of I know nothing of, excuse me, I know nothing of the real estate agency that has it listed. But with that, are there any other are there any further public comments? Yes.
I'd like to add that, following the purchase of that property, that you didn't present any costs associated with it other than the purchase. Nothing was presented to the public regarding demolition and improvement.
We're still
Or
collecting that
engineered set
information.
of plans as to what the, how many parking spots you're saying you'd be able to get from it? I mean, we don't know what the projected.
This isn't our question and answer session, which
No, I know.
we've posted before, but I do have to tell you that we did report on this to the public. Tom McGreevy did a walkthrough with our town engineer, and he did some mind sketching and is working on a full-fledged proposal. We've also been having meetings with the county for rust grants for the removal of the property and remediation. And so we are working to prepare for the meeting on January 7th, when we will actually be unpacking this and presenting all the information to the public process, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that this is a little presumptive, but thank you. Are there any more further public comments?
But you did move ahead to purchase it, to go into contract with an $8,000 deposit or $7,000 deposit. Without the public hearing, without hearing from the public.
There's a process that's outlined for the acquisition of properties and the use of ARPA funds, and we're following that process according to the guidance of our attorney to a T. Nor would I put the public at risk or do anything illicit to acquire property with federal funds. That's a very serious matter, and I think that we're following everything by the guidelines set forth by both the federal and state government for use of funds and acquiring property. And we're working very tightly with the county or how to move forward with the project as well. We've had meetings with the planning commissioner, et cetera. So if anybody's interested or would like to weigh in, we are again having our public comment section, a session at the reorg meeting on January 7th at 7 p.m. Immediately following will be the reorganization meeting. Are there any further public
It's a
comments?
public hearing, not a public comment session.
Are there any further public comments? Okay, it is 8:18. Thank you, everybody. Have a happy holiday season and thank you for your time tonight.
I'll need a motion to.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a good night, everybody.